Might as well just start now. Yeah, no, totally did not. Yeah, okay. Uh, much as I like the birds sometimes, this is not one of those times. Where is the window? There's the window. There we go. Now it's just bugging me. Hi. Yeah. Okay, so, hello. How are you doing? Welcome to the slightly updated shenanigans with, like, the at least temporarily resident tree over yonder here. And we have, ow. Apparently I need to file my nails more. Ow. Ah. And we have the fabulous Bob Thulu just kind of chilling with all of his little friends, and Cosmic Space Bat over yonder here saying hi. So it's a whole thing. So yeah, I don't know how well these little dudes are showing up. But we've got the owl over here, and the little 3-eye dude over here, and all of the festivity things. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I as to the gravity reversal situation, I was trying to use OBS to record for a video making some of these little guys, and now it doesn't want to acknowledge that the webcam feed exists. It's circulating the web feed through the camera that's not currently turned on, so, like, if there's a weird glitch situation today, that would be why. Yeah. So, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Alright. No. This is muted, right? Yes. Okay. Yeah, right. It's like, you're better than some versions of operating systems that I've tried to use, but, like, also, why? On top of which, I think I need a new cable because my phone does not like to be plugged in right now. Like, either that or the port that it was plugged into was busted, so whatever. Fine, change our lovely title. We changed for you. What was the title? What did it get changed to? Oh yeah, no, that can work. That works. Okay. Let me just. There we go. Alright. Oh, yeah, also, because I've been spelunking in the closet to try and find some wolf skin, because it's AWOL still, I found my shirts, so we now have Toothless making an appearance, and it's adorable. When you first came on, you still had the info from last stream. Ah, right, yeah, no. that, that would... That would not be good. Like, seriously, the last book club stream, it was still under art the whole time. We're so smooth with the mod moves you didn't notice. Honestly, like, OBS keeps wanting to hide the chat feed, which is part of why I didn't realize it was streaming until I went to click the streaming button. So, like, I didn't see any of that. The first message that I saw from today was like, oh, we apparently weren't supposed to see that. Okay, one sec. There we go, now I can see everything. Alright. Yeah. Okay, so... Yeah. What ended up winning, anyway? Ah! It is wolfskin, okay. There we go. Also complimented your pants. Ah, yes, yes. The, See, my eyeballs read, plants, which, like, okay, there's the fake tree over here, but, like, I'm not getting spooky, ugly sweater from that, but, like, okay. Yeah, no, these, it was, as far as I can tell, it was designed to be spooky, ugly sweater. So, yeah, Christmas face. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We have a certain aesthetic here. It's like seasons are all over the place. Alright, so before we jump into analysis and discussion things, like I opened the box already, which is yeah. It's like this side's okay. I opened the box, which is how I figured out who it was from. Because it just has the company name on the outside. But we have a fabulous Yule gift from the wow, okay. Zane! Hi! How are you doing? Honestly, according to the trees here, seasons are all over the place. So, the lovely honeycomb has has sent me a palmistry for you. Oh, that's adorable. Like, I've seen that image as it was either a patch or a sticker at Hot Topic, and have thought about picking it up, but like didn't. And yeah, just like look at the like I can't remember what it's called. It's not a splash page because that's digital, but like the detailing on the pages. Look at that. With the symbols and the paws, and it's freaking adorable. Wait a second. End papers. Yeah, there we go. I can books. This is adorable. There's this little envelope thing in the back, right? I have no idea what it is exactly because I haven't read the rest of it. If it's just like a poster, which probably not, or if it's like some kind of other thing, which it might be, but it might just be a poster. But like you fold it out, and as the kitty, saying anything is possible. In the middle of a board. This is great. Oh. Actually, I could probably use this with my pendulums too. Yeah. Of course, of course. If it's feline, fortune telling, I could also just make a tiny ball of yarn and chuck it at the page and see where it lands, and there we go. It's a kitty Ouija board, we think. Maybe. It might be. Because it does have the, like, it doesn't have, like, the hello and goodbye, but it has everything else that a talking board would, so. This is awesome. Thank you very much. Very cool. Okay. Also, I do like the packaging for this, because it's just like tear here and you're good. Okay. So there's that. Stay. There's this. Oi. There you go. Okay, so now that that's taken care of, how's everybody doing? We good? We doing? Ow. Huh. You're welcome. Hope you have much fun with the kitties. Yes, that is the plan. That is most definitely the plan. Alright. Okay. So. We're on part 3 of The Lily and the Crown, which I didn't change in the thing. Okay, 1 second. Knew I forgot something. Come on. OBS, work with me for once. Come on. There we go. Spaces. It's fine if it's just numbers, but if it's got words in there too, it needs spaces. Okay. There's that. Okay. If you're if you're into lesbian romance with some excellent sexy scenes, highly recommend. Yeah, no, seriously, like yeah, yeah, agreed, agreed. Um, so as with the previous episode, um, like I get really awkward talking about like sexy scenes and stuff, like verbally. So, uh, Bob, what are you doing? you're supposed to be leaning against the tree, not falling behind the tree, buddy. Come on, work with me here, man. Stay. There we go. Okay, doing all right. Doing all right. Just I don't know if it's how I was sleeping or what exactly, but I woke up and it's one of those days that the entire upper back is just like, so, man. Anyway, um, Blue heard spicy scenes and either clutched his pearls and fainted or prepared to crane his soul. Yeah, from the looks of it, I think he was trying to hide behind the tree at that one. Yeah. Thank you for the hugs, Honeycomb. Thank you for the hugs. Yeah. So anyway, um, anyway, what was I saying? I don't remember. Yeah, no. The last couple of days, there's been like there was like family stuff last week, and then Friday the smoke alarm decided to die horribly. It, just like a whole lot of stuff. We saw this electric heating cape on Amazon and want one. Ooh, bet your back would love it. That sounds intriguing. That does indeed sound intriguing. Yeah, alright. Yeah, it's like the right between the shoulder blades part right there. Like, can you stop? Thanks. Anyway, okay. So, so, um, left off, more or less, at chapter 15, mostly because I couldn't remember what chapter the senior royal botanist, whatever his name was a massive jerkface and stole Ari's research. But, there we go. We saw this, like, okay. Smoke alarm death is so noisy. Really? You're such drama queen? And it's like, it's one that's supposed to last for 10 years, and it was replaced, like, 3-4 years ago. So, like, why? But then the light was replaced at the same time, and it died, like, in June, so I don't know. And it's supposed to be a 10-year too, so make of that what you will. But there we go. Just realized the Dr. Dirtface thing never got resolved. Yeah, okay. Just like usual, probably gonna jump around a bit. Okay, so the book opens with Ari having taken really good care of a Barmensis nobu plant, which, from the sounds of it, is a violet. And sends it off with Doctor Steal Your Research. Seriously, that dude. Oh, man. And like, that's the intro that we have to Ari and Mir and the whole cast, the whole everything. Ari goes through some stuff. Mir dies when the ship's attacked by pirates. Totally not a rescue mission at all. Nope, not at all. Yeah, obviously. And Ari is taken aboard the ship forcibly because, like, I'm trying to brain one of the guards with a shovel, but there we go. Work with what you get. And when she wakes up, there's a Barmensis Nobu sitting on, like, the table, sitting like right in front of her face. So, like, is that a thing that's like, we went and got the plant and it's sitting here, or is it just like Mir was feeling nostalgic and happened to find a plant that was the same plant and it reminded her of Ari, so it's living in the rooms now, or what? Because, like, because they're marauding pirates, first thought was, she was annoyed enough at Mr. Jerkface that she went and found wherever he was and happened to take the plant back as like a spoil of war or something. But then later, how was it? I forget what the discussion bit was. It's something to the effect of like, if um like when I become empress, then you'll have your revenge on Doctor Smush your face in dirt. So I don't know. No. That was one of those that like there were a few instances where it seemed like something was gonna go a particular way and it didn't. I mean that's in general for storytelling, but like there was a mention of what was it, the one guy, dude. I'm I'm just gonna look at this 'cause yeah, where is it? Uh, no, I wrote it down. Where did it go? 16. Here we go. So like, if it's something in film or whatever, you can get away with just saying like, there's things that happened, or like someone happened to have a particular tattoo and like they find some way to write it in or whatever. But if you go to the trouble of putting it in text, you intentionally included the thing for whatever reason. So it tends to need more of an explanation, especially if like there's symbology already around. Um so like by this point we kind of knew that assistant and mirror were the same person cuz like obviously uh um and the symbol of Mirror's fleet is I know it was described a couple of times, but I can't remember if it's like a lily growing out of a crown or a crown and a lily, whatever the superimposedness of it. It's that's what it is. Hence why the flagship is called the crown lily. That and the lily is Mirror's favorite flower. Um, and that dude's neck tattoo clearly symbolizes that he's a pirate undercover on the station, right? Like, it's never addressed, and it's freaking annoying. Cause like, what was it? Roland's got a a tattoo that's a star with a flower around it. Like, oh, why do you have that? Well, I got drunk one night 6 years ago and made an error in judgment. Okay, so why not have it removed? Well, it means something to me. It reminds me of my home and family. Like, that sounds vaguely ominous, but okay. Whatever. But also, like, if family is the pirate ship, then there's that, you know? It's a thing. Ah. But, like, it's never brought up. I think her fave Lily is specifically the Stargazer. I mean, that would make sense. That would make sense. Yeah, I don't think it's ever expressly stated, but yeah, no, totally. Ow. Exactly. Because yeah, like I get that an epilogue, just like jumping ahead a little bit, I get that an epilogue is meant to wrap up stuff, but like they just have reconnected and decided that they want to be together on this page. And this page is 8 years later. They're making like mass changes in cosmic politics. Mirror's the Empress, and Ari's pregnant. And and like the only way that I've really seen to have it wrap up all potential loose ends at that point is like if it's like random timestamps of yes, this thing happened and then this thing happened and then you just have a bullet point list of annoyance. But still, like the you know, to have the friend folks just like pop in and say hi, or some mention of something else or whatever, I don't know. But like we do know that Mr. What's His Face was ousted as the royal botanist simply because that's Ari's position now. And if Mir is the Empress, there's no way in hell that dude would still have a position. So, like, alright. But still, you know? Not sure the audio has an epilogue. Don't remember pregnant Ari. Okay, yeah, alright. Okay. Let's see. So, the last part of, like, the main story is, like they're having some banter back and forth in bed, and Ari comes back with like, hummingbirds love lilies. Yeah, we need to get hummingbirds because like they really like certain lilies, and that's like that's the end of the convo, and it just kind of fades to black. And then the epilogue comes in. 8 years later, Ambassador Boers relaxed back in his seat with a feeling of wary approval. Negotiations had been a success, and the Empress had not been as entirely unreasonable as her predecessor, which was good. Neither was she as vulnerable. He had wished to pursue war instead of peace. Had she wished to pursue war instead of peace, the Khazir would not have. Well, I apparently can't read right now. Or we could have just deleted it from our personal reality. It's a toss up sometimes, I realize. Okay, let's try this again. The negotiations have been a success. Yeah, just from the top, because otherwise it's just gonna make everything nuts. Okay. Restart. 8 years later. Ambassador Boers relaxed back in his seat with a feeling of wary approval. The negotiations had been a success, and the Empress had not been as entirely unreasonable as her predecessor, which was good. Neither was she as vulnerable. Had she wished to pursue war instead of peace, the Khazir would have had a more difficult time of it than Boers liked to think. A drink? The Empress asked, and when Boers inclined his head, she gestured at a servant. She kept no slaves at her court, one of her many eccentricities. The man who filled Boers' goblet was paid to do so. Khazir intelligence had even picked up word that an initiative, still in its infancy, was underway to abolish slavery throughout the empire. At the beginning of Mir's reign, that would have been unthinkable. It would have destabilized her regime before she'd even begun. But now she was turning preference into policy. Boers couldn't understand it himself, but he supposed it was none of his business. To the feast, the Emperor said, as they raised their glasses. There would be many more toasts at the banquet tonight, given by officials in varying degrees of intoxicated pomposity, but Boers doubted any of them would be as heartfelt as the one shared by two exhausted, triumphant people. It was not unpleasant to drink with this Empress, nor, if you were to be honest, was it unpleasant to look at her. Really? All of the guys in this, honestly. Aside from, like, Rowan. Jesus. Fuck, dude. Well, in all fairness, so was Boers. What? Okay. It wasn't, nor if he was honest, was it unpleasant to look at her. She was a superb example of her species, even if she was past her prime. Well, in all fairness, so was Boers. He wondered if she thought he had aged well, too. He believed he had. His scales were supple and iridescent, as they had been in his youth, and he hoped she appreciated them, as he appreciated her own beauty. Are you anticipating the banquet? She asked, with something like laughter in her eyes. I'm anticipating sleeping well afterwards, Boers said, and the Emperor smiled. She had a disconcerting smile. There was something about it that made him profoundly uncomfortable, even when it seemed genuinely meant. At that moment, the door chimed, and the servant hurried out. He returned in a moment, bowing respectfully. Your Majesty, he said, Lady Ariana wonders if you have a free moment. The Emperor scowled and rubbed at her forehead. I knew she'd forget I was in a meeting. Steam, what are you doing? Another book we finished this week, Downstairs Girl. We were so satisfied 2 chapters from the end, we decided to stop there. Fair enough. I'm anticipating sleeping well afterwards, Boers said. And the Emperor smiled. Okay. Our business is concluded until tonight, Your Majesty, Boris said, deciding to make a gracious exit. Do not let me detain you further. No, stay, she said, and waved her hand. Send her in, she said to the servant, and then added to Boris, I would like you to meet my consort. Oh, Boris said, settling back into his chair with renewed interest. Rumors circulated within and beyond Mir's empire about the imperial consort, Lady Ariana, the little gardener who kept the all-powerful empress enthralled for almost a decade now. Some said she was mad or simple or childlike. Others said she was kind and decent and refreshingly guileless. Nobody, however, said that she was a natural choice for an imperial consort. Within the moment, Boris saw why. A young woman hurried into the room without seeming to notice him. Her hair was disheveled, and was that mud all over the hem of her skirt? Hey, Lady Ariana said breathlessly, and bent down to kiss the Empress on the cheek. For her part, the Empress looked resigned, but not angry, perhaps even a little amused. Are you busy? She glanced over and saw Boris. Oh! She straightened up and brushed her skirt down, appearing self-conscious. Oh, gosh. You told me about this meeting, didn't you? I'm sorry. Is this the Kazir ambassador? Before the Empress could reply, Lady Ariana extended her hand to Boris with a big smile. She had dirt underneath her fingernails. Hi, I'm Ari. Ambassador Boris, the Empress said dryly. Permit me to introduce you to Her Excellency, the Imperial Consort and Senior Royal Botanist. Her eyes danced with laughter. It was obviously not the first time she had made such an introduction. Gingerly, Boris took Lady Ariana's hand. A pleasure, Your Excellency, he said, trying to keep the incredulity out of his voice. He'd heard that the surest way to start a war was to insult Lady Ariana in front of the Empress. I mean, at least he's got that going for him. And he refused to think that the last 6 months of negotiations had been for nothing. Smart dude. Oh, thanks, Lady Ariana said, and turned back to the Empress without further ado, her eyes shining. The fuel cells work! Most of her Illis synthesizes so much faster. I just sent it off to the lab. We should know by tomorrow. Wonderful! The Empress patted Lady Ariana on the hip. I suppose this means you'll be making a non-appearance at the banquet? Oh, gosh, I forgot, Lady Ariana said, looking acutely distressed. I'm going to be so... Do you want me to come? If you could be there for the first round of toasts before your headache develops, the Emperor said, I'd appreciate it. First round of toast. Okay, 8th hour, right? 7th. Oh, 7th. Right, got it. Lady Ariana's brow furrowed in concentration as she obviously tried to commit this to memory. Don't forget this time, the Emperor said. I won't. I'm so sorry about last time. It's just that I have so much to do before I go to the conference next week. Lady Ariana winced. I'll make sure somebody reminds me by 6th hour. See that you do, the Empress said, and sent a meaningful look to the servant by the door. He clearly understood that he would be the one to remind Lady Ariana, or suffer the suffer the royal displeasure. There we go. And nodded. I will. I'll see you at the banquet, Lady Ariana said, and bent down to peck the Empress on the lips. The Empress patted her hip again, and Ariana flew out the door, just barely remembering to give Boris a nod as she left. He stared after her, feeling rather as if he just staggered out of a brief, bewildering whirlwind. When he turned around, the Empress was watching him with hooded eyes. Thank you for introducing me, Boris said, unaccountably nervous. What is this conference Her Excellency is attending? It's some botany thing, the Empress said, volunteering no further information to place or time. Boris was not surprised. He had heard that the Imperial Consort did not travel a great deal, though whether from her own inclination or the Empress' protectiveness, he did not know. He did know that his apparent curiosity about Lady Ariana had brought out something fierce in the Emperor's eyes, and he abruptly remembered that less than a decade ago this refined and elegant monarch had been the most bloodthirsty pirate in the known galaxy. She's pregnant, the Emperor said. Boar's long practice in diplomacy needed less than a second to collect his wits and say, "My sincerest congratulations." "Thank you." The Empress tapped her fingertips to her cheek on her desk. It's nearly 3 months along. She is nearly 3 months along, but you can't really see it yet. Indeed, you couldn't. Human reproduction was still something of a mystery to Boars. "The birth of the heir will be a great cause for celebration," he said delicately, already planning to alert his masters to this bit of news as soon as he returned to his suite. Everyone had wondered what would happen to Mir's empire after her death. Apparently, she'd decided on a plan. It will," the Emperor said, confirming his suspicions with the merest lift of her eyebrows. "It's time for the news to get out. You might as well hear it from the source." She gave him a little smile. She was not exactly the image of impending radiant motherhood, but for a moment, her gaze had softened again. "We do what we must." Yes," Boris said, and cleared his throat. "I have 6 offspring myself. They're blessings. It would have their own clutches soon enough." The Empress smiled blandly, her boredom obvious. However much she would care for her own brood, Boris could not envision a time when she would enjoy making idle talk about children. "I'm sure they are." She rose to her feet, and he scrambled to do the same. "Don't let me detain you further, Ambassador. Please enjoy your rest before our little gathering tonight." "Indeed I will, Your Majesty." Boris bowed. "And you as well." "I'd better," the Emperor said with a sigh. "It'd be a late evening, and I promised Ariana those I'd look at these fuel cells once she got them working. I wager you anything that I'll spend tomorrow morning on my knees in the dirt." Boris tried his very best to imagine this and failed. Instead, he nodded and smiled as respectfully as he could without laughing, and then bowed as he took his leave. An odd pair, he thought to himself as he returned to his quarters. An odd pair, an odd marriage, an odd arrangement altogether, really, even to the producing of the heir. But it appeared to be working. Everything about the Empire appeared to be working. Certainly, Boris hoped his people never had to contend with Mir's power, although if they did, and if they lost, perhaps she wouldn't be as monstrous as she'd been painted. She'd been all gentleness with Lady Ariana. She was not, Boris thought, a woman without pity, without mercy, surely. Well, perhaps, but really, Boris thought, as his door closed behind him, he would prefer not to find out for himself. So, yeah, that's the end right there. So, yeah, from that, we know that unlike in the previous regime, Mir actively pursued peace with the main antagonistic force besides her in the first part of the book. Almost entirely, like, obviously due to Ari's influence. Same reason that slavery is being overturned as a thing. Yeah. A good editor's job is to help the writer know when to stop. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, we meant to write good editor, but editors are gods. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Like, if the author is essentially the high and mighty to the contained universe within the pages, the editors are the ones who go through and like try to figure out the metaphor in this context. Like the ones that help determine what species work still? I don't and just like pick off things that don't need to be there. Ow. Oh man. Yeah. Oh yeah. Complete side tangent. Um, at least the ones down here. Uh, I've been to a few Dollar Trees, and they have like holographic rainbow slinkies in the like party favor section. So like I had to look at a couple of packets, and I think this is the only one that has the full rainbow for the one that I ended up picking up. But if that's a thing, that is a thing. So yeah. Anyway. The writers, the demiurge, the editors, the archdeity. Exactly. That's what I was trying to go for. Yes. So yeah. Uh oh, yeah. I do appreciate though, like for the interactions and stuff, it wasn't just an immediate like, oh, you're alive. Like, that's awesome. Everything's fine now. Like it it was kind of a fast turnaround, sort of. But like it actually showed Ari working through some of the issues that she had, not just like an immediate 180. Uh, where the writer is Zeus, the editor is Hera. I mean, it depends on the editor, really. Because, like, what I know of Greek mythology, it's like Zeus would create something and then Hera would try and kill it. So, like, eh. Also appreciate the intention to consent. Exactly. Exactly. But the consent issue was a very very good one. It's like the number of times that that's not addressed, like even like especially in a romance heavy plot, the number of stories where consent is not addressed like at all is just mind-boggling, you know? Like when was this What was wrong? Attention. Wait a second. Wait a second. Yeah, okay. Alright. Yeah, it's a small publishing house, but it's print on demand. Yeah, because this particular one is copyright. I don't know if you can see it, but it's copyright 2017. But if you go to the back, it's made in the USA, Las Vegas, Nevada, November 5th, 2021. Because that's the day that I ordered it. You're saying we don't. Wait. You're saying we don't try to kill a draft when we bleed all over it with our red pen and tube. Okay, well, what? Okay, one sec. That's when you get into the realm of interesting philosophical debates, kind of, because at that point, you're technically killing that version of it because there's the intent to change it to be something else, but like, is it really dead because the main soul of the story is still present, as long as the characters and the main plot points are still enacted in whatever finished version it is, but like, also, has it been eviscerated enough that it's become an entirely new thing, or like, um, questions. So like, yes, no, and maybe. At which point we have Schrodinger's plotline, which someone might be able to get away with that. I am not that person. Let me just see. It's kind of amazing how different, like, complete side tangent. It's kind of amazing how different LED lights are to like traditional lights, because like, I've had like traditional lights on, like, there were some hanging up on the wall, I don't know, last year or something, a couple years ago, and they got hot enough that, I don't know, I came into contact with them, and like, for a good couple of months I had a burn mark on my shoulder. These though, oh, Excuse me. These, though, like, they've been on for a bit over an hour, like, I don't know, hour and a half, whatever. I put them on not too long before I started the stream, and they're, like, fully cool to the touch. Because they're LEDs. And they're great. Anyway. They are a little more pricey, though. So, there's that. All hail. All hail Schrodinger's Spotlight. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. Oh. Okay. We still have incandescents, easier on the eyes. Which ones are the incandescents? Is that the ones that like the traditional ones? Or I don't know. Cause like I know for these they had the warm white, which is these, and they had the cool white that's like the blue ones. the white blue. But I figure that was the better option. Classic light bulbs, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that. Just figured if I happen to leave it on for an extended period of time, because I do that. Unintentionally or otherwise, it happens. These are less likely to try and set things on fire, so yeah. That, and somehow I don't think my $5 tray over here is like flame resistant. So yeah. I will say for $5, it's very definitely like not a scrawny Charlie Brown looking tree. So not mad at that at all. Alright. Fire safety is important. Yes. Yes indeed. What is Schrodinger's weapon of choice? Now that is a question. So, like, if Bob Fulu was a magical cosmic space robot with like rainbows and stuff, I imagine it would be somewhat like this, you know. Complete tangent, I realize, but like, also does kind of rock it. Also with leg warmers. Anyway. What would be Schrodinger's weapon of choice? I don't know if it's because I opened the book in the box, or if it's like a thing, but like all I can think of is chucking a cat at somebody, because like you might get scratched, the other person might get scratched, the cat might just run away. It's a toss up. I'm more familiar, like I know the discussion point, but I'm more familiar with Schrodinger's cat than Chekhov's gun. So what? What's that one? Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, that would work. That would work. The weirdly detailed descriptions of everything, and yeah, yeah, like seriously. The only time, right? The only time that I might forgive the like inclusion of unnecessary description of a thing and it not be like explained why it's important is if it's supposed to be like a series and you know that it's a series going in and you know that whatever isn't resolved in the first something is going to be in the next one. But like even then, even then, like you can have a vague thing so that there's a callback, but like not a mass description of whatever it is. Because that just gets irritating. Um, yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, no, that would work. That would indeed work. Ow. Let's see. Oh. In theater referred to anything the actors dropped accidentally and didn't pick up was Chekhov's gun. Yeah, that would make sense. I had not heard of it in that context, but that totally makes sense. Yeah. Because, like, it's one thing if it's just like, oh, yeah, I tripped and dropped a thing, or like, whoops, hand slipped, or whatever. But, like, yeah, pick it up and keep going. Unless it's intentional. In which case, why? Uh, it, it just reminds me of certain, like, improv scenes and stuff that, like, the improv was great, so therefore the authors have to, like, rewrite a prospective scene, like, 3 episodes, and it, like, that's supposed to happen 3 episodes later or something because whatever it was didn't happen the way that it was supposed to, but like what ended up happening was better. Also, it's a hazard. Yeah, totally. Especially on stage when you have a limited space to work with. And if you're not expecting something to just be there, yeah. So, I don't know. Okay. So, what do we think on this? It's like, yeah. It's Ari goes from essentially being like a reclusive hermit in her own little corner of the space station that's removed from everything else to being a person in charge of a slave and trying to navigate that when she wants nothing to do with the whole um, culture in and of itself. And then is captured by pirates slash rebels, becomes the consort to the pirate queen, who then becomes the empress. So yeah. Dr. Dirtface's name is pronounced in audio like Felixus, which we believe is Latin for happiness, luck, felicity. Yeah. Felicius? Okay, let's see. Yeah, because the spelling in here we've got is that. So yeah, Flaxus or Felixus? Felix. Yeah. Felicius would be luck. Or Felix would be luck, really. Um yeah. Yeah. Happiness, luck, felicity. Yeah. So I don't know. Mm. And it's never mentioned that they actually do anything with the research on the P that Ari was trying to do too. I think this book was excellent. $5 sale, impulse buy, and then convince her to read it for book club choice. No regrets. Yeah. Yeah, basically. And the audio really is good. Just like, if you're gonna have an epilogue, why leave the epilogue off the reading? It's like 10 minutes extra. Like, after a chapter that was like 120 minutes, or no, 120 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes, yeah. Like, what was it? Yeah, chapter 20 is an hour and 20 minutes. And 21 was 10, so. Let me see. If I remember right. Yeah. Yeah, so chapter 21 is the epilogue. So, I don't know if Audible has a different version than if you are on Libby or whatnot, but that's what I've got on this. Yeah. All right. So, there we go. Anyway, just trying to focus on the audio. Well, now you know what it is, and you can listen to it if you feel like it. Yeah. So, like, it's one of those times that I don't know if the epilogue is, like, if it adds to the story or not. It doesn't really, like, take a. Ow! There we go. It doesn't really take away from the story. Bob, buddy, stop trying to dive behind the tree, okay? Thanks. How about we put you over here, and you, sir, over there. Yeah, stay. Um, but like if the epilogue does what it needs to, kind of, because it does wrap it up, and it gives a timestamp in the future without having to go through another however many chapters. It shows that they actually made like decent change to the overall structure and workings of the empire, for the better, really. Uh, so from that perspective, it's pretty good. And Ari, who like always thought that she was the weird person that no one really liked, has the confirmation that not only is she important to her person, she's important to the entirety of the empire, and her research has actively helped people. Presumably. But epilogue should be satisfying, ideally more satisfying than ending. Yeah. Which, like, the couple of times that I've read an epilogue, it's all, like, it's just been, like, 3-4 pages of the ending was this big dramatic thing, and the epilogue's like, where are they now? So, I don't know if that's just the books that I've read, or what. But that's how I've seen it in films and stuff too, when there's like an epilogue sort of freeze frame scenes at the end. Because the only ones that are coming to mind right now are this and whatever the title was, I can't even remember, but Potter 7, which yep. So, I don't know. The book itself, though, it's pretty good. I'm just trying to figure on a rating to give this one. I don't know. Don't know. Yeah. Alright. So, is there anything else that we want to do or discuss about for the Lily and the Crown? Oh, yeah. That. Where is it? Chapter 16, right? So, like, there's a point when, like, after Ari has been discovered, in her quarters, like, passed out because she forgot to eat for like 4 days or however long it's been, and doesn't sleep and whatever else, and is hospitalized because girl has a hard time taking care of herself, which, you know, we got from the first couple of chapters, honestly. There's a spot in there, I can't remember where it is exactly, but there's a point that, she's talking with the medical staff about Mir's fleet, and I forget the context exactly, but someone brings up something about part of the other colonies either falling or surrendering or offering an alliance with her outright. And Ari comes back with, like, uh, something to the effect of, um, it's essentially like, I wish they would all die because they killed, someone close to me. And the statement is made somewhere in there. Amazed Ari didn't bargain to have her forest brought aboard the flagship, to be honest. Yeah, I was waiting for that too, honestly. Cause like I don't know, I don't know about that one. Cause like they have a lot of space, so I don't know. But there's a statement made or a thought or something that she wouldn't have been as mad and as like as enraged at Mir and Mir's fleet if Assistant hadn't been killed in the process of one of the things that they were doing. Mir might well be um, relatively decent or vaguely okay or something, but it was unforgivable that um, Assistant had been killed uh, during the taking of the cargo ship, passenger carrier, the ship that Assistant slash Mir was on. So I'm listening to this, and it's like I'm getting real strong Buttercup Wesley vibes right now. Like that's all that would compute. Like, like seriously. In this scenario, we have Ari, who is Buttercup, and Mir, who's the Dread Pirate Roberts. Oh, especially at that point, because when she's captured, she is like one version of herself, and when she goes back to the ships, she's another version of herself because over the span of time that she was hanging out with Ari, um, there was enough of a change in her perceptions of things that, like, she's kind of a new person, but not really, but kind of, but sort of, but still, like, as ornery as, whatever. But not so much with the killing people indiscriminately anymore, Didn't think of that, but it works. Right? Ah. At which point is Dr. Dirtface, like, is that dude, like, Prince Humperdinck? Oh. I mean, she kind of went through, like, the Valley of Despair, so, there's that. Or, no, the Pit of Despair, there we go. Yeah, except it was, like, metaphoric instead of literal. So, yeah. Oh, I gotta blow my nose again. One sec, y'all. I figure I've got hand sanitizer, so might as well use it after doing the nose blowing, you know? There we go. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah. Comforting, comforting, comforting! Yes. Yes, indeed. Indeed. Okay, so did I write any other notes on these? I don't think so. Oh yeah. Also, right? Like, can we just talk about the fact that the entire space station of 4,000 people has one therapist? One. Like, what? Like, y'all are at an Imperial outpost on the fringe of space where your entire medical staff seems to be 3 people and a therapist who's not qualified to treat an entire station. The fuck is that? Why? Which reminds us, total tangent, thought the Candyman only had to be called 3 times. Well, it seems to be a 3 thing, because, that's how it is for Bloody Mary, too, and stuff, so, yeah. And then we saw an ad for the remake, and we're like, it's 5? What? Good point regarding staffing. Yeah, you have an entire station that has to be entirely self-sufficient unless they're waiting for shipments of parts and stuff, because they're out in the middle of freaking nowhere on fringe space. And it's the station directly correlated to a mining planet where, injuries and potential for death are real high. So, where's the medical personnel for this? I realize that that's not, the main body of the work, as it were. But, I can believe that there's a forest on a ship if there's no space, but, how? Just generally logistically speaking here, okay? How is there enough space to have a veritable jungle with, at least 2 full-size oak trees and, probably 3 or 4 other trees, at least, in there? In what's supposed to have been just adapted family quarters. I know how big oaks get, right? I know this, generally. And from the descriptions of Homeworld, it's Earth. Or Earth adjacent, right? So, presumably, the, 30-foot by like 20-foot canopy that a lot of oaks have would be the same as there. Unless they're like really young, in which case, okay, fine. But they have a thick enough trunk that someone can be pushed up against it and the tree's stable. So like, because that's like a lot of space. And at least 1.5 or 2 levels, I would think, for like the canopy side. So I don't know. Alright, does mention there's other staff, but only 2 nurses are assigned to her to keep her social anxiety down. Okay, yeah. I did not catch that. Like, I remember there being other staff, but not the reason exactly. Okay. Which, come to think of it, is still shady. Author has never been in a hospital 3 shifts a day. Yeah. It's one of those, like, I like it, but because of how I read stuff, and because of the nature of, analysis for book club and all of that, like, there's some definite, like, plot holes and whatnot there. Which I appreciate that the main body of it is as a romance between a enslaved and then freed pirate queen and a botanist. But if you're gonna construct a world, which incidentally is why writing is sometimes pain in the butt. But yeah, like at least a few shift changes a day. Like if they're trying to keep her anxiety down, to have it be the same like 3 people or the same like 6 people or whatever, like okay, yeah, no, that's totally fine. That's fully understandable. But no. Or even like she's usually asleep for one of the changes, so only really interacts with like 4 people, so when she's released only talks to those few people. So like, all right, I don't know. Okay. Random observation: the back is the same as the front, if you like, because it's got the cosmic space clouds, except they've photoshopped in the lilies and the girl who is presumably Ari. Which is a cool way to do it. Yeah. Fair. Also, let's just take a second to appreciate the typesetting on here, right? So we've got the lily that's like all nice and flowing lines and stuff, and then the crown that, if you like, is like all distressed and like worn down and everything, which from how the empire is described, at least pre-Empress Mir, is pretty on par for the crown and the empire itself. It's like really distressed, really like on the verge of war, and yeah. So there's that. Um, yeah. I'm trying to find. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. 2 editors, a proofreader. Yeah. All right. Very nice cover. The stamens and lilies don't look quite right to us, though. Once you really look at them. Yeah. They. Yeah. um. Pretty much. Pretty much. Okay. So, any other observations for ow for this? Because I think that was all I got. Just because for most of 20, it's like, oh, well, at least half of 20. There is some pretty much like long span intimate scenes and stuff. Okay, so the next one we're doing is Juliet Maria. I always pronounce a double L as a Y because that's what I grew up with. So, is it Marler or Marier? I don't know. But Wolfskin chapters 1 to 2 or 1 to 3. I don't know. I still need to find my copy. So either I'll end up borrowing it or Marillier. Oh, okay, French. Got it. Marillier. Okay, I can work with it. Yeah, no, that's fine. So we're doing Wolfskin by Juliet, presumably Marillier. For next Monday. I don't know, what's the time difference for the chapters? Like how long do the chapters last on that one? Oh, yay. Okay. Yeah. Alright, because it looks like it's a, what, 23 1/4 hour thing. Which is about an hour. Okay. Let's go for 2 chapters and then see from there. Like we can increase it for the next week if need be, but 41, 59, 49 for the first 3. Okay. $2.55. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. Yeah. So let's do chapters 1 and 2 in Wolfskin for next week, and yeah, sounds like a good time. All right. So ow. No, come on. That's not the window that I wanted. If I can get down to the bottom of the thing. Alright. Come on. Oh, they're playing Pokemon. Okay. Yeah. It'd probably help if I was actually in the chat already. That would help, wouldn't it? Okay, so 2 chapters for next Monday in Wolfskin. Gonna be great. It's one of those that I have the book somewhere. Pretty sure it's on the shelf right under the things that I can get to right now, so that will be remedied. Shortish. So yeah. Anyway. Well, we're waiting for this thing to load. There we go. Okay. Okay. Come on. Have a fabulous, fantastic evening. Thank you very much for hanging out and being generally awesome. And I will see you all later. Okay. Okay. Hugs for everybody! Alright. Oh. Look at this little guy. Look at that. With the little bonsai tree and everything. And his little hat. And it's seriously like, somehow I didn't realize how much I would love these, and they're just great, honestly. Yeah, you can sit in your tree. Okay. Anyway, have a good one. There we go. Okay.